Hey!
Hey everybody.
How are we doing? That's my elbow. Has anyone seen it today? I don't think anyone's seen my elbow. I've been bitten. Dina thinks I've been bitten by a spider because I've been bitten on my shin and the pain and agony around the rest of my leg is so overwhelming. It's like an enormous bruise the size of my heart. My heart. I've got a bruised heart and a bruised shin. I look quite well today, don't I?
Yeah, you do.
God, how are you, baby?
How are you, my lovelies?
Don't know what that means, Pagey. 155048122451130p. I bet you didn't think I'd read it all out, did you? Richard Kavanagh. I love Richard Kavanagh. Always highlighted in red. Good morning, Mark and Nadia. Hope you're both well. Sadly, there was going to be job losses. There are job losses at Marks and Spencer's, and the reason
I don't know about this story yet. I mean, there's going to be job losses everywhere, isn't there? So sadly.
The reason I've popped it in the headlines is mainly because Marks and Spencer's is such a, for a non-British followers, Marks and Spencer's is a major part of most British people's lives.
But it's known everywhere, isn't it? I mean, tourists come and go to Marks and Spencer's like tourists go to
M&S.
When you go abroad and you go to things like Zara, you want to see the Zara in
My grandparents used to call it Marks and Sparks. Did your family ever used to call it Marks and Sparks? Why did they call it Marks and Sparks?
I still call it Marks and Sparks. I don't know.
It's weird, isn't it? It's got no it doesn't even come close to it.
Shall I look it up?
Retail Giant has said...
somebody look it up.
Retail Giant has said it's seen a material shift in trade during the coronavirus pandemic.
But hang on a minute. They were struggling way before. This is back.
They were... It doesn't look as bad as it did.
Really itchy. They were struggling before coronavirus.
Yeah.
And it's like you've always said, you worry about the establishments that are going to use coronavirus as an excuse to...
Yeah, I think what's happening under the shield and sort of shadow of coronavirus, lots of companies that already needed to lose people, but for whom the PR would have been pretty disastrous in sort of times that were considered, affluent, are using it as a sort of opportunity to get rid of people. Now, I'll tell you what I think is going to happen. Lots of these companies are realising that, like Boohoo and ASOS and companies like that, they have to just embrace the technological shift. And I think what's going to happen is you're going to see a contraction of them all as they try to become profitable. And when technology kicks in, ironically, there will then be a resurgence of work. That doesn't help anyone.
Is this what I saw a headline yesterday that we are heading for an economic rise just after this? And I couldn't be asked to read the article. Yeah. Did you read it?
Yeah. What there'll be is what they call in the financial circles. There'll either be a surge or there'll be what you know from Billions as a dead cat bounce.
Yeah.
And the dead cat bounce is that, Donald Trump quoted it, didn't he?
He knows every fucking thing.
Donald Trump tried to pretend that the economic figures in the last 4 weeks as the economy came out of lockdown was one of the greatest growth. Well, statistically, it was one of the hugest statistical growths in American history.
Really?
Because it had fallen to such low levels.
Yeah,
so it's, again, manipulation of the facts. So you will get what looks like a sort of recovery that goes... But my concern is what happens at that point.
We're back to bloody peaks again.
Well, no, does it stay there or does it slowly go down?
The peaks! We can't look at any more peak graphs.
But I think M&S is... Well, you're right. You were right to say it. M&S were really struggling in the clothing section. And so the one saving grace was their food aisles. But they're even struggling in their food aisles too. And so they're proposing a sort of leaner, meaner, online sort of approach. But I think this is yet another nail in the coffin of the high street. I think high streets...
What's going to happen to the high street when there's no shops left?
I think we're going to have to start to rethink what high streets are. I think urban settlements... do you know that the footfall in central London still is only a third of what it used to be?
Wow.
A third. Think about that.
Oh, Sharona, thank you. She got our book on audiobook.
Yes, I listened to the people who did our audiobook, and they were great. It's very odd hearing yourself as someone else. Very odd. It's the closest I'll probably ever come to being played by someone.
We would have done it, but we just didn't have time because it takes hours and hours and hours.
So yeah, so Marks and Sparks. Let's tune in with everyone before we move on to anything else there. Yeah, good. So Marks and Sparks. Does anyone else have fond memories? What's your favourite thing? When I was a child, M&S for me meant...
We can give you a shout out. Denise Jones. Denise Jones.
M&S meant 3 things to me when I was a child. 4 things. I got 4 culinary joys from M&S.
So we're just talking food?
Food, yeah. No, food and nostalgia. Nostalgia always goes down well, doesn't it? Chocolate eclairs. And I used to buy M&S's chocolate eclairs. The best ever, because they have milk chocolate.
I don't think the chocolate eclairs are good.
Not now they aren't, but they were then.
They don't have enough cream in. They don't have enough chocolate.
Oh, M&S skips. They used to do skips.
I don't think they're seasoned enough. Their skips. Isn't this
But
weird?
they used to be. They used to
It's
be.
the salt reduction.
M&S custard tart.
I hate a custard tart.
They're a bit
flabby,
insipid. That's what I like about them.
pastry.
I like them
with
with floppy.
Wibbly yuckily stuff.
And the prawn and mayonnaise sandwich. A pièce de résistance.
Well, I don't think there is a decent supermarket sandwich anywhere.
The prawn...
You know me, I'm the queen sandwich maker. Prawns, even Marks and Spencer's don't put the prawns to the edge. They put them more at the front.
But they used to put them to the edge. As a young
Don't put enough salt.
17-year-old work placement, when I had a summer job working in the job centre on Wardour Street in central London, telling other people whether they could sign on for an employment benefit. Can you imagine that? Because my neighbour was the manager of the firm. I used to go to the Marks and Spencer's on Oxford Street, and I lived for my prawn sandwich lunch.
I tell you what sandwich I do like of theirs, the Christmas one. The one where they donate to
like
homeless.
that. You do
That's
like
a good
that.
one.
Sarah
Helen
Tacy just
Davis
said
says
knickers.
her memory is my nan buying all her food from there and having good bags.
Yes.
Strong. They're strong, she used to say. Well, my memory of
separate
Marks and
handles.
Spencer's when I was a kid was never having a single thing from there. My mum was only millionaires buy from Marks and Spencer's.
You're joking. My nan and
Never
granddad
a
were not
single
millionaires.
No, but it was her. You know, my mum, she doesn't like to overpay for anything, and she would like be working out, you know, for this amount of money, you would get this amount of.
So do you think my nan was doing a hyacinth bouquet going there?
Definitely.
I never
But
realised.
I love Marks and Spencer's food. My favourite things from Marks and Spencer's food are the cherries. They're not like
Their fruit is amazing.
anywhere else. Their fruit
is phenomenal.
We sometimes say, like this, should we get some fruit from Marks and
No,
Spencer's?
actually, it does still have that
Because
millionaires.
it's so expensive.
Yeah.
But you can eat every single bloody bit of it, which you can't with most other supermarkets because it's tasteless or it's disgusting. I love their sausage, sage and onion stuffing is really good.
Oh, look, Elsa Pop. I was born in the early 80s and M&S was always the posh shop.
Yeah.
My nan would go, it's a nan's shop, isn't it?
Special occasions,
Look
puff
at-
pastry, mince pies. We used to get those
Yeah.
at Christmas, but only once we could buy them ourselves, me and my sisters, because my mum absolutely has never bought any food from
Really?
Marks and Spencer's. No, she thinks it's overpriced.
Janet Sharp says, I've got the right voice for their Christmas ads.
You
Marks
have.
and Spencer's. Marks and Spencer's school uniforms. I mean, I never had one, but I know what you mean.
I do Cater Girl too. Cater Girl says she hates that when they put stuff in sandwiches and it doesn't reach the edges. I think it's equivalent to legal mugging.
Well, look, Julie Neary, it's been too expensive for me to shop there. It is expensive.
Too expensive.
We'd consider it before going to M&S.
We say it as a treat. Let's go and get some fruit
Yeah.
from Marks and Spencer's.
Yeah, Percy
like
Pigs.
What I
Like it.
love about Marks and Spencer's is now when you go on a long journey,
Yeah.
you can find a Marks and Spencer's in the thingy stations, so you don't have to eat shit.
Their
And
blueberries are good on the petrol
everything is
stations.
good. All their fruit is good. All their
Cadder Girl says
vegetables.
it's a rip-off.
Their vegetables are so fresh.
Percy Pigs, Helen Davies, the girls...
Hate them. Hate them. Why do people say they're like Percy
Well-
Pigs? It's honestly, it's a conspiracy. People have whipped themselves up into a
They are
frenzy about Percy Pigs, and I'm telling you now, you've been conned. Somebody with a good palate, there is nothing in a Percy Pig
They do
to
vegan
make
ones.
you come back to it.
They do vegan ones.
Mark,
Yeah, but
a
they
Percy
are
Pig
they are a
is a
crude, they are a
con.
£4 for blueberries, exactly. That's why we don't buy them often.
It's a con.
But
A
when you
Percy
stop
Pig
at
is
a
a
petrol
con.
station,
I feel
I'd rather
quite-
spend a lot of money on fruit than a lot of money, because it's still expensive, on confectionery.
Shit.
Yeah, exactly.
So we find when we say to the girls, okay, it's a fruit journey and we buy fruit, it's exactly the same money as if you would go in and buy everyone Kentucky Fried Chicken or something. And you know, the girls get just as excited about that Marks and Spencer fruit as they do sweets, don't they? Oh yeah, can I have a box of mango? Can I have this? Can I have that? And it is,
But Percy Pigs are a key part of any film crew's
they're terrible.
arsenal.
It's a conspiracy.
No, every time we go on location, they are a critical part of any film crew's
Because
kit.
people have whipped themselves into a frenzy. A Percy Pig.
We like the Percy
A
Pigs!
Percy Pig is not what people think it is. I'm telling you.
It's a Percy Pig.
If you actually sit and really chew a Percy Pig and think about what you're tasting, you're getting fuck all because it tastes of nothing.
Mandy Nanny, you will not be able to see my film until it's been in the festival circuit. But if you go to the festivals, which are most of them are going to be online, you might be able to see it there.
Oh, Chelsea girl used to work in the head office tasting rooms in Baker Street.
Oh!
What used to happen? Jodie used to have the coin caterpillar cake. The coin caterpillar cake. Oh, that's lovely. Oh, that's true. I love Marks and Spencer's and Waitrose's. I love Waitrose.
Yeah.
You see, Waitrose actually is, I favour Waitrose over Marks and Spencer's. And I love their French fancies.
Sure.
Their homemade French fancies. I love rubbish birthday cake with fake cream in the middle. That's one of my favourite things.
Bareback Barbarians FC. In America, we don't have Marks, but we have Whole Foods. I love Whole Foods.
Oh no, Whole Foods is not like Marks.
No,
Marks
it's not
and
like
Spencer.
Marks, but
Whole
I do
Foods
love.
is
I love Whole
amazing.
Foods.
We love Whole
Yeah.
Foods.
Whole Foods.
But it's so expensive.
Yeah. The Union. There's one in New York that I
my
always go
God.
to in
Union
Union Square,
Square.
which is just great. I love it, and they do brown rice sushi, which is.
I
lovely.
wonder if we'll ever go to Union Square again.
Hit the thumbs up if you're nostalgic for M&S.
Welcome MEF12 to the family guest area. And for those of you that don't know what happens in the family guest area, it's
It's rude.
it's a paid area. It's $1.99 a month, and you get extra content, stuff that we don't do on here.
Are you putting up that film on the members area this week of you with the pole dancing?
No.
Oh, right. Hit the thumbs up if you'd like Nadia to pole dance in the members area.
It's Denise Welsh.
Oh. Don't show a number.
There's no number.
Oh my God.
I'll just have to say, I don't want to
Terminate it.
I don't want to terminate her. Just text them.
Nadia, I saw the story break,
I
but I
love
didn't
Denise Welsh
realise
so
how
much.
inspiring the Michelle Obama speech was. Has anyone heard Michelle Obama's speech today? A sort of salutary lesson in the responsibilities and the sort of prerequisites of being a good president. And she very cleverly lists what's required and then leaves you to kind of apply those qualities to the current president. And I rest my case. But I just listened to the one excerpt. But the other part of it that wasn't actually in the excerpt that you showed me, which I thought was very good, was her doubling down on the whole going high and staying high. But sometimes actually, don't misinterpret going high as taking shit.
Well, this is the
And that's the
interesting
important
thing,
thing.
isn't it? Because I've always loved her phrase, when people go low, you go higher. And it's a very, very difficult thing to balance, because you have this with the girls when we try and teach them this over the years, to rise above, to rise above, to rise above. But sometimes it's really difficult to manage, isn't it? And I'm glad she said that, because I didn't have time to read the whole speech.
Well, it's equivalent to in rehab and kind of mental health terms, and setting up boundaries in life, which as parents is what we try and do with our kids all the time. It's like, you should never say to your children, it's just bad to be angry. Sometimes it's a totally appropriate human response to be angry if something has been done to you that's unfair, unkind, bullying, nasty, or whatever.
I think we devalue anger. I think anger is just another emotion. We don't want to be a victim of it so that we lose ourselves.
Yeah.
And sometimes when I go batshit crazy, we can both go batshit crazy. And I think then you undermine yourself when you do that, because you give people power. But I do think anger is it's just another emotion, and sometimes it's just okay to have it, isn't it?
Daniel Gall, trying to rise above negative criticism is tough. It is tough.
It's hard.
It's very hard. It's and sometimes there's wanting to correct slander, for example. You want to be able to kind of get in there and sort of
And
do
she
some
must
recovery.
feel that so much, Michelle
absolutely.
Obama, because
Yeah.
when you think of all the things that he's said, Trump has said about her husband,
absolutely.
and she knows what he's gone
That's
through.
what I'm talking about. I'm
It's
talking
just
about how
shocking.
she, and I thought she did a very good job by omission, just describing all of the qualities required to be a great leader. She then sort of summed up, didn't she, by saying,
She would, Faith, be an amazing
yeah,
president.
being president reveals who you are or what you are.
You can't, it doesn't,
It doesn't.
what does it say? It doesn't make you who you are. What was it,
It
that line I
reveals
love?
who you
It
are.
reveals who you are. I love that line.
Who
I
would
wish
like
she
Michelle
would
Obama
run.
to be president?
Oh, yes.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Or the Democrat kind of, choice?
Penny Shrimpton says, trying to rise above what people say, but how do I get away from words that hurt? I think that it's very difficult, and I think what you have to do is, I know I always say my phrase, those that mind don't matter, those that matter don't mind. So if it's somebody you care about very much and that you think has the best intentions for you, maybe what they're saying is the truth. Like Mark and I will be very honest with each other sometimes, and it hurts, but we have to consider that that might be the truth, because why else they would say it? Sometimes somebody can say something nasty to you and it can be their truth and it's not necessarily the truth. So that's the first thing, to detangle that. But I think for people that you don't care about, even though it hurts, I think you just have to work through it, allow it, say that it does, and then move on. But you know, yeah. Can you imagine how much Michelle Obama's had to do that?
Yeah.
I mean, the racism, everything that she's had to hear about her husband. Oh my God, horrendous.
Charlene Hayden Fox, morning Mark and Nadia. Can I please have a shout out? I'm feeling very low and worried as my dad and boyfriend are in hospital.
Oh, sweetie.
Yes, of course you can have a shout out. I hope
That's
they're okay.
awful. I can't imagine that.
What are they both in for? That's obviously going to be.
Is that coronavirus?
Yeah.
God, because big hug to Charlene Hayden Fox. Can everyone send the prayer emoji?
Big Charlene,
Give her a bit of support. I really think it does make a difference when a group of people all think well at the same time or something. I really believe you send positive. I don't like to say send positivity because everyone goes, oh God. But I do think there is something electric happens.
Linda Donnelly, welcome as a new member. Super excited. It's lovely to have you on board. Lovely to have you on board. One of the other stories today, obviously...
Emily, I was bullied for 10 years from primary school through secondary school. Now I don't have friends. I don't like most people. Emily. Oh my God, I bet. Because how can you find trust again if you've been bullied for 10 years? Can you... I would say, though, if you can start to just think about maybe putting your toe into the water, because there are more good people than bad people. Don't forget, school can feel like the whole bloody world, but it's not. It's just one community. And, you know, think about maybe getting some therapy with that, because that seems grossly unfair to me, that despicable people have treated you in a despicable way, and now you're missing out on that part of life. And you have a right, everyone has a right to be able to work that shit out. And you know what, like quite a few times we've said about Anxiety UK, maybe reach out to them, go to your doctor, your GP, ask for some CBT, ask for some help, because that's not fair. It's just not fair.
There is also, a CD just made an interesting point there. CD says, yes, there's psychological papers written on prayers and good thoughts. And another thing I think I just saw go up, CD, that you just said, sometimes, you know, if you feel like you haven't got the right person in your life, you might not have, for very, very valid reasons, met the right person. You know, I think we're sometimes forced into thinking that we should be social for the sake of being social, when actually for some people, I think this is a really important thing to say for introverts or people who have social anxiety or whatever, you don't want to compound the problem, become more socially anxious and more isolated and all of that, get that. But there are some people, and I'm thinking of examples here, like at school, when you're forced in amongst a group of friends, you have to, and they say, well, this is what the real world's like. Well, the real world kind of is and kind of isn't like that, actually, because you can be sidelined by groups of people, even if you want to belong to them. So sometimes you might find yourself slightly socially isolated, and it's all right to sometimes think to yourself, do you know what? This problem is parked in other people. This problem isn't just mine. I do feel sometimes, as someone who struggles with social anxiety to a degree, that why does all the burden of responsibility sit with me fixing myself, when sometimes the types of people I'm around aren't actually suitable people for quite a few people. They're not particularly people I want to hang out with, and I'm forcing myself to a place of tolerance.
I don't think it's about that, and I don't think it's a numbers game. I mean, I'm feeling from your message that you would like people. I think we also have to acknowledge that some people just don't. I mean, there's lots of people that say, I don't like anybody. I just have animals and I love my animals. And I think that that's okay. Like you say, not everyone has to be social.
And I do believe...
But I think if you feel like you've been pushed into and pushed away from that part of life, it's worth interrogating it further to see if maybe you know, because there's so many other people that are the same, that have been bullied. It's almost like there should be a bullied anonymous.
But I do think
where people pull together and say, you know, the good people.
I do think we live in a culture, though, where it's seen as a virtue if you have a very busy social life and you are fully plugged into lots of people. There, as a culture, we are suspicious and circumspect
really
around people who want more isolation, more solitary, and it's often seen as a problem with them. Whereas actually, if you unpack why most people or a lot of people are social, it's just a different way of them dealing with their shit. Do you know what I mean? There's no judgment.
I used to have so many people, and now I just have people. I have a small group of friends that I truly trust, and I think that's the best way to be, because when you're younger, it's all about numbers, isn't it?
Yeah.
And maybe for some people, that's just one person. Maybe for other people, it's their dog. I just think if you feel like you've been pushed out of something by a group of bullies, I think that's unfair. You might get some support and then decide, actually, this is actually who I want. I don't want to know any other fuckers.
One of the other stories today, obviously, is that the A-levels, we've talked about it quite a bit, and we've listened to our podcast, Examining the Exams. But
we did that. We put that out on Saturday. It's a good podcast, actually, about it all.
Universities are under extraordinary duress at the moment because, of course, following this U-turn, the government has essentially said to universities, to basically do a U-turn and open up more spaces. So Gavin Williamson's lifted the cap on university spaces. So what that means is universities are now overwhelmed with students and they're going to not be in a position to be able to cope. So think about the two ends of the spectrum.
And then they're talking
You're going to have
about
more students going to each university and more students all socially distancing.
But didn't they also say that they might have to rethink all the places they've offered?
Yeah, I mean...
And just, obviously we're not in this hell because our kids are homeschooled, but it's just been interesting because all Maddie's friends are about to go to university. And it's just interesting watching her phone calls and hearing, oh, you have got, oh no, they're not going to, oh, they're going to take places. And just seeing how confusing and disorientating it is for everybody. So, and we were saying as well, weren't we, God, can you imagine being in the house with teens going through this?
No.
A bit selfishly we said that. So a bit of like prayer to you parents that are going through this, because it must hurt very much to watch your children that you've watched and all the work that you've put into, like cajoling them and bribing them and God knows what else to get them to study, and then to just have no answers to them. No answers for them. Sorry. What do you say as a parent now?
Absolutely.
Yeah, they fucked it. I mean, some of Maddie's conversations she was having yesterday, I overheard, and it was like, basically the whole education system has been fucked. That's what they were saying, weren't they?
You swore.
I know, but I do swear.
That's what I said to someone yesterday.
Part of my essence.
Yeah. Well, I don't understand sometimes when people don't like things like that. It's just watch another YouTube channel.
Yeah. I mean, you do get swearing on this YouTube channel. I can't change it.
Ellen DeGeneres story, final story. Ellen DeGeneres, we have a meeting at 10. So Ellen DeGeneres calls no eye contact rumours crazy in new apology to TV staff. Well, this is one part of the story, and this is all hearsay, whether she gets people to put chewing gum in things and
how
doesn't
can
like
we know
paper.
the
Yeah, how can we ever know that? But what has happened for a fact is 3 producers have been fired. And I know that one of those producers is feeling extraordinarily...
has been fired since the bullying claims.
Since the bullying claims,
okay.
3 of our show's top producers, Ed Glavin, Kevin Lehman and Jonathan Norman, are leaving the series. Now, Kevin Lehman, I know, has taken legal advice and is enacting legal procedures against the programme, believing that he's been used as a scapegoat. So I think this story is going to roll and roll. I didn't realise that her show, I mean, she's got 17 million followers on YouTube, but her show is... viewing figures are really cratering at the moment. Because of this... it can't be helping, can it? I mean, it just can't be happening. It can't be helping.
I suppose we just can't know.
We can't know.
We never know the truth.
It's just very hard. Again, Ellen DeGeneres' girlfriend is urging people to listen to those who have made allegations about... I didn't understand this part of the story. At all. I didn't understand a blooming word ex-girlfriend, ex-girlfriend, Anne Hesh, breaks silence on bullying.
Says, listen to what people are saying, and then goes on to say how in love she was with her and how extraordinary it was and how they were extraordinary. So it kind of sounded like she was saying, listen to what people are accusing of, but I stand up and say she's an amazing person. I didn't understand it.
I haven't spoken to Ellen in years, Hesh said. I'd listen to the people who have. That's certainly not a vote of confidence, is
It's
it?
a bit.
No.
I mean, why say anything? If you're also saying that you were in love with this woman and she changed the very course of your
Why
life and it was
say
amazing, why say
anything?
anything?
Why
Because
say
clearly she doesn't know about
No.
what's actually gone on.
So guys, when this live has finished, keep telling us your favourite food products from M&S. But maybe it's your favourite. I think I got my first cheap thrills wandering through the laundry department of M&S, thinking, what the hell is this stuff? What is this frilly stuff?
Can you hit the like button? Come on, we got to get to at least
200.
200.
Rachel Dodge, you ran your first 10K yesterday.
Oh, well
making
done.
slice cakes today. How's that for balance? Rachel Dodge, that's
That is being
Yeah.
a woman.
That is being-
And just enjoying all of it.
it is, isn't it? Lynn Aoki, where
We
are you?
run and we eat cake. That's fine.
See if you can get us to 250 thumbs up. Go on, guys. Just to let you know, we are waiting on the results of my wee granddaughter Robin's scan. The doctors are cautiously optimistic. Keep everything crossed for our wee scan, please. Lynn, do we have any
we
sense of
do.
what the problem is there? I feel for you terribly, but...
Wee scorn. I love the way
yeah.
she says that. Imagine being called a wee scorn.
A wee scan.
I love that. A
Yeah.
wee scorn. Sending lots of love.
Sabrina Neal, unfortunately, due to social media, I think kids make untrue friendships online instead of getting out meeting face to face. What a rich conversation we've had today. Michelle
Yeah.
Obama to friendship to M&S. There you go.
To Percy Pigs.
To Percy, but you got very...
I'm furious.
You're furious about Percy.
I don't think
Pigs.
I'm going to get over it.
Why don't you make a sweet? Why don't you make your own? Why don't you make naughty nads?
Naughty. You see, what I think they should
Naughty
do
nads.
with the Percy Pigs is,
Yeah.
I think they need to make them more raspberry with maybe a dash, a hint
Vanilla.
of rose water. Or vanilla's cheaper.
Rose, will that float on the motorway services? It sounds a bit sophisticated.
It's what
to me.
I'd do with the Percy Pig. What can I say?
Oh, so Tim Reed, a late entry into the family members area. Welcome on board, Tim.
Welcome.
Head over there now.
Welcome.
Did anyone see this weekend's show, the No Name Sunday show? Was a cracker, actually. Nanny Di really did brilliantly, not really knowing what was going on, but managing to link the show together. And your dad's Teddy Talks was brilliant. 2 very inventive and clever dishes. A bit more chaotic than normal in the Sunday show.
Hello from Pittsburgh, from Mishing 70.
Mishlizig 750. Well, hello to Pittsburgh.
Oh, hi there,
Yeah.
Pittsburgh.
Here we go. Mitch Liz G70.
First time watching a live coffee moaning.
Damn insomnia tonight. Hours so far. Hope
Oh,
to get at least.
sweetie.
I was padding
So
around the
sorry.
house again at 3:30 this morning. What is going on at that time? Why?
Mark, you have to investigate.
But my body has gone into a
What
sort of
was your time as
ritual.
your last coffee?
Really early in the day. It was about,
When,
No,
Mark?
it was about 2.
Was it before 12? No, that's why you woke up at 3 o'clock. I didn't. I slept through till 6:45 this morning. It was really nice.
Jojo
I'm
Wade,
exhausted
you can have a shout out for your best friend Leanne Walker.
Jojo Wade, Leanne Walker, Jojo, hey, Leanne.
Leanne's been through so much lately, and we're rooting for you, Leanne.
Leanne, big hugs,
Yeah.
big kisses.
Anyway, keep hitting the thumbs up throughout the day. Lots of love to all of you, and something will be landing later, though I don't quite know what yet. It'll probably be a normal vlog. All right.
Bye.
Bye.